Once again, welcome and thank you for being here at Hope Community Church. As Sean mentioned earlier, we are into the Christmas season. As soon as Thanksgiving is over, it's like, boom, we just kind of sprint without stopping until we get to Christmas. There's a lot going on. And, for those of you who like Christmas music, you're legally allowed to listen to it now. I mean, prior to Thanksgiving. You know you're not yet? Okay. You have to wait at least until after Thanksgiving to listen. I don't really like Christmas music myself, but if that's your deal, you can listen to it now. It's kind of tricky to be a pastor at this season and to try to think of sermons for Christmas because, we do this every single year. Christmas happens, and it's really it's our job as the church, and it's my job as a pastor to remind everybody of the true meaning of Christmas. That's what we do every year. That's what happens at church. It's the Charlie Brown Christmas special. And who is it that starts reciting from Luke? They start reading the Bible. Is it Linus? Yeah, Linus. I feel like it's my job to be Linus every year, and I got to come up, and I got to say, and everybody, we can all say, ooh, afterwards. Isn't that what they say? Hark to Harold? Why do their heads be like that when they sing? I don't know. Anyway, I feel like that's our job as a church. But you know what? That's okay. I'm going to make my peace with it. If we do this every year, there's a reason for it. There's a reason we celebrate Christmas every year. It's a big deal, all right? And if this is our job as a church to bring people back to the reason behind the season, then let's do it. Let's do that. And so we're going to be doing that for the next several weeks. We're going to be doing this series that we are calling Unwrapping Christmas. And this series comes with props. That's why you come to this church, right? For props. These fancy, fantastic props that somebody actually agreed with that. That's weird. So here are our props. Okay? And as I said, we're calling this series Unwrapping Christmas. And then last night I was thinking about it. I'm pretty sure I stole that title from something. It's not even that clever of a title, but I think I stole it from somewhere else. So forgive me, whoever you are, that I stole that from. But we're doing this series. It's Unwrapping Christmas. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to peel back the layers of all the stuff that happens this time of year. Peel it all back. Unwrap it, right? Kind of a play on words. Unwrap it, like wrapping a Christmas present. You got it. We're unwrapping it to get to the real gift, to get to the heart of the matter. And so that's what we're doing. And each week we're going to be unwrapping another layer or lifting. You'll see how it works as we go. We're just trying to get to the heart of what's going on here. And so the first thing, the first layer, the first thing that we need to unwrap, the first issue that we're going to talk about is the issue of consumerism. You just have to trust me. This says consumerism right here, okay? All right, I thought I should print this out just to make it official. This is consumerism we're talking about today, and how this is something that gets in our way of really being able to celebrate and enjoy the Christmas season, really be able to celebrate Christmas the right way. If there is a right way to celebrate Christmas, sometimes consumerism can get in the way of our being able to celebrate Christmas and really embrace the true meaning of Christmas. And so we want to get rid of consumerism. That's what we're going to be talking about today. A few years back, maybe 5, maybe 6 years ago, I heard about this thing called Advent Conspiracy, and where you kind of stole that title, and that's in your bulletin. But it was this organization or a loose group of pastors who started to put these ideas out there, and they have a website, and they have videos, and they have books, really just challenging people to stop spending so much money at Christmas time on frivolous junk. Stop wasting money during the Christmas season and redirect some of that money towards worthwhile causes. And so what they were doing is kind of challenging people to think about, where do you spend your money during the Christmas season? Where is it going? And is it really worth doing? And there are lots of different kinds of spending that we engage in. We spend money on ourselves sometimes, so that's one big broad category. And then we spend money on others. When it comes to ourselves, we can spend money on things that we need, right? Or we spend money on things that we want. When it comes to others, there can be the same kind of thing. In fact, I think we can break it down into 3 different columns in how we spend money for others. We can give other people things that they need, right? You can give other people things that they want. And then there's this weird third category of what we can do for them. We can buy people things that they have no possible use for whatsoever. We can just give people junk, okay? Anybody remember the movie Wayne's World? I'm kind of dating myself, Wayne's World. I think he had a crazy ex-girlfriend that got him a gun rack. Do you remember that? He opened up the gun rack. Exactly. I don't own a gun, let alone many a gun that would necessitate an entire rack. What am I going to do with a gun rack, okay? So that's in that category of junk. Do you guys know that movie? It's an old one. All right. That category is just like, you know what? You've got people on your list. There are people in my life that I love, and I want to give them something at Christmas time, but I don't want to spend a lot of money on them, and I know they don't actually need anything, so here's something at the dollar store. Boom. Merry Christmas, I guess. It's crap, sure, but it's just a sign that I care about you and you're on my list. Okay? Can I say crap up here? Is that all right? Oh, I said it. Too late. I said it twice now. So there's that category of like just buy. I mean, that's crazy, okay? That we have this junk category of spending. And there's so much money. I mean, collectively, as Americans, there's so much money that we just funnel into this junk category. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Something's got to stop. It's one thing to buy yourself something that you need. It's another thing to buy somebody else something that they need. Okay, I can see if you want to go above and beyond, get somebody something that they want. All right. But what about this, just like the trinkets? I don't need a tie. I don't need another sweater. I don't need that thing. Save your money, right? Isn't that crazy that we do that? And have you been in that situation? Have you ever? I mean, I've done it. I've gone to a dollar store. Oh, I got to get something. Here's a pen. Great. We've done it. You know what that's like. And so one of the things we're going to talk about when it comes to consumerism is let's eliminate that category of junk spending. Let's get rid of that, all right? Now, I'll be honest with you. When I first heard about the Advent conspiracy and when this kind of stuff was brought to my attention about, just how we should be, using our resources more wisely and helping people who are truly in need, I love this idea because basically what the Advent conspiracy, what they were challenging us to do is to, instead of spending money on junk, instead of spending money to buy people gifts that they don't need, take that money and donate it to worthwhile causes. Okay? There are some great, Christian organizations, like my favorite is Samaritan's Purse. Samaritan's Purse, they send out a gift catalog, and you open it up, and it's like, here's what you can buy. You can buy some chicks for a family in need. Buy them a little family of chicks. They raise the chicks. They get chickens. They eat the eggs. They eat the chickens. It's a wonderful thing, right? There's also like the Heifer Project. That's not a Christian thing, but it's still a great organization where you can buy, if I bought you a cow, there's not much you could do with it, but there are people in other parts of the world, you buy them a cow, and then you give, instead of giving, your friend that mug or the pin or your family member that junk gift, you give them a card that says a donation has been made in your honor to the Heifer Project, to Samaritan's Purse. And you can even get more specific. Here's where your money went to. It went to buying sports equipment. It went to buying, a cow. It went to buying baby chicks. It went to buying a goat or whatever it is. And so, in other words, what you're doing is instead of spending money on you to buy you something that you're not going to like anyway, I use that money, and in your honor, I made a donation somewhere else. I loved it when I first heard about it. I loved it. Let me be honest about why. I hate shopping. I hate shopping. You know what I mean? I can't stand it. I can't stand getting in the car and driving to the mall or driving to the place and fighting in the traffic and trying to just kind of aimlessly wandering around. What would this person like? Ugh. I can't stand it. Even when I'm shopping for myself, if I need something, if I need some socks, I can't stand doing this. Let me get in and out as fast as possible, and I come home, I'm exhausted. Something about shopping makes me exhausted. Holly's like, you've been gone 20 minutes. I'm like, shopping. There was other people there. There was lines. I don't like it. So when I found out you mean I can just go online, print out a card, make a donation? Fantastic. So that's one of the reasons why I like this idea. Here's another reason why I like this idea. I married into a very big family with a lot of people in it. I remember our first Christmas together as a married couple, Holly and I was like, wow, you've got all these aunts and uncles and siblings and grandparents and friends and fake aunts and uncles. I'm like, do we have to buy them all stuff? Do I got to get a second job? How does this work? And so when I found out about that, no, you don't have to do that. You can kind of swap that. I was like, oh, well, this will work. That's fantastic. So I liked that. So it wasn't like I had to sacrifice anything to do this new thing. It's not like I said, you know what, for the sake of helping other people, I'm going to give up my passion of shopping. I'm going to give up that holiday traffic, and I'm going to do this thing. I'm just ready to make that sacrifice because that's how great I am. No, it wasn't like that for me. It was very, very, very simple. Now, I'm told and I understand that there are people in this world who are not like me, that there are people who actually enjoy shopping, all right? Okay, I knew that already. One of you admitted it. You're not alone. People enjoy the thing of, let's get dressed, let's go to the mall, we'll look around, we'll have lunch while we're out, we'll see some people, we'll stand in line, we'll hear some Christmas music. If that's your thing, we can still be friends, but I don't understand that, okay? All right? And so when somebody like that is confronted with these Advent conspiracy ideas, it's like, whoa, like I'm all for helping people, but I don't want to, like, are you asking me to like give up something here? And that's a very tricky thing. Now, what I get concerned about is this, and this is kind of cool. I mean, this is like our third Christmas season as a church. How about that? Wow, all right. And we've been talking about this kind of thing since our first Christmas together. So if you've been with us for the whole time, you've heard this stuff already. You're getting this stuff already. And I can see, and it's not just our church, I see in other churches where people are really starting to take hold of this idea and at least make baby steps towards walking away from consumerism, walking away from at least that category of junk spending, and really putting their money towards something good, something that counts. That's good. And so this year the challenge is just take one more step away from consumerism, one more step towards giving your resources to somebody who's truly in need. Now, Jesus has something to say, a principle that he shared back during his ministry that I really think speaks to this issue and will shed some light on the issue of consumerism in general. It's the passage of Scripture that Josh Peterkin read for us, and if you want to take a look at your bulletin, you could see it there. And again, these are the words of Jesus. This is what he has to say. And at first, you might not, immediately read this passage and think this is about Christmas, is about gift giving. It's not quite about that, but there's a principle here that I feel like we need to look at, we need to embrace, we need to be challenged by. It says Jesus, he was at a gathering, he said to his host, verse 12, when you give a luncheon or a dinner or a party or a shindig or a box social or whatever you want to call it, when you throw a party, great, whatever you like, do not invite your friends. Excuse me? Isn't that what a party is? Isn't that what a luncheon is? Isn't that why we're having this banquet? Jesus, come on. I'm going to have a party, not invite my friends. He continues. Do not invite your friends, your brothers or sisters. Some people are like, well, I don't have a problem not inviting my siblings. That's fine. Don't invite your brothers, your sisters, your relatives, or your rich neighbors. If you do, they may invite you back, and you will be repaid. But when you give a banquet, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, the blind, and you will be blessed. Although they cannot repay you, you will be repaid at the resurrection of the righteous. And so, if you were in that room when Jesus spoke these words, and if you were feeling very bold and honest, you might say to Jesus, Jesus, are you serious? When I have a party, I'm not allowed to invite my own people to it? That's the point of having a party. I'm going to buy this food, we're going to get a few pizzas, I'm going to grab some chips and some soda, and I'm going to have my friends over. that's the whole point, right? Are you seriously saying I can't do that? And I think if you ask Jesus, if you approach Jesus in that way, I think here's what he'd say to you. He's like, let me just say this, okay? You're going to spend money on food, and you're going to feed people that don't need to be fed. Meanwhile, there are people who do need to be fed that are going hungry. You're going to feed the people who are fed. Is any of this making sense? And they're like, wait a minute. You're going to feed people who don't need food, and you're going to ignore the people who do need food. Are you serious? What kind of sense does that make? In other words, Jesus is saying, if you're going to be generous, if you're going to exercise generosity, why not exercise it in the direction of people who are truly in need? Right? No, I don't know. You could go overboard and maybe take this a little too literally and say, well, I'm never having any more parties. Jesus isn't saying you can't socialize with your friends. You can. He's not saying you can't get together with your family on holidays and celebrate together. He's not talking about that. He's talking about where we direct our generosity. He's like, you need to think about this. If you're going to spend money on somebody, if you're going to exercise generosity, why don't you point it towards someone who's truly in need? Right? Now that makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah? There's a scary statistic, and this information is a little bit dated, so the numbers may have changed a little bit. Let me get out my notes to make sure I give you this right. But every year at Christmas, Americans, I'm not talking about globally, not talking about worldwide, Americans spend $450 billion, billion with a B, $1 billion on Christmas gifts. Crazy. Now listen to this. In order to solve the clean water problem, or I should say the dirty water problem globally, to provide everybody with clean water, Here's how much money it would take to do that. $20 billion. 20 billion sounds a lot, but it's nothing compared to 450 billion. Come on. Lack of access to clean water, it kills more people every year than anything else. And we are Americans, we're going to spend $450 billion on Christmas and kind of let that, problem go unaddressed. It's not right. I mean, there's something, we need to do something about this. We really do. And so you've seen this stuff, and I went over this during the announcement times. You saw the stuff in your bulletin about, how you can help other people who are in need. And here's my concern. I mentioned how we're kind of taking steps away from consumerism, and we do want to help people and all that. And it's like, well, for those of you who it's tough to give up the shopping, and I was making fun of you earlier a little bit, but I understand anytime you're asked to sacrifice something, it's difficult. What I've started to see is this, that people aren't really giving up anything. Instead, they're just adding something else. It's like, well, I still want to go to the mall. I still want to go shopping. I mean, it's not really that wrong, so I'm going to do it anyway. And I'm just going to spend an extra $20 on a donation to someone. I'm just going to spend a little bit of extra time. I know I'm going to have my schedule packed with going on these shopping trips, but I'm going to add something to my schedule, add another expense to my list, add something to help people who are in need. I'm not going to tell you can't do that. And if I did, it doesn't matter. I can't police this stuff anyway. I mean, do what you want. But you kind of miss a little bit of what Jesus was talking about here. And so I want to give you today, I'm going to give you the solution to consumerism and how to solve this problem, how to unwrap this layer and get to the real heart of Christmas, okay? You don't do it by adding, and you don't do it by subtracting. It's like, you know what? You're spoiled. You have enough stuff already. You get nothing for Christmas, all right? It's not about addition. It's not about subtraction. It's about substitution. It's about substitution. And here's where this whole thing comes in that I was talking about earlier. We have different ways, and we as a church, we've presented you with a few things that you can do as a substitute gift. Instead of buying that mug, that tie, that ugly sweater, that gag gift, that junk gift for somebody, instead of doing that, you can use a little bit of that money to buy some food and donate it to Loaves and Fishes. Now, when you do that here at Hope Community Church, you can get a card in exchange. And it says, a donation has been made in your honor to the Loaves and Fishes Food Bank. Loaves and Fishes feeds over 700 families right here in southern Delaware County. That's what your card will say, okay? We have those cards available at that back table. There's a whole setup. There's your mall at the back of the theater. There's your mall. You go back there, you can make your donation to Loaves and Fishes, you get a card in exchange. You go back there, and if you want to, we talked about the clean water thing and, the dirty water. We need to give people clean water. People are dying on this. It's just crazy that people are dying from dirty water. If you want to go back and make a donation to our Kenya fund so we can help give people clean water, you can go to that back table, make your donation. You'll receive a card in return. A donation has been made in your honor to Hope Community Church's Hope for Kenya Fund, where we'll be providing people with clean water this summer, okay? And the details are written out there. You can do it. That's there. Like I said, that's your mall. You want to go on a shopping trip? Go. It's right there. It's close. It's nearby. No traffic. Maybe a little bit of traffic if you all go at once, but still, it's right there. Or you can sign up to volunteer at City Team. You can sign up to volunteer at City Team. There are 3 different sign-up sheets. I mentioned that earlier, 3 different ways that you can serve. You can serve by delivering food. You can serve by organizing food. You can serve by serving lunch on Christmas Eve. Sign up, and when you sign up, you get a card in exchange. A gift of service has been made in your honor at City Team. And it says a little bit about City Team and all the good work that they do. All the cards are back there. The stuff is back there. There's your mall, okay? And this is what I'm talking about when it comes to substitute. And listen, all right, if you want to buy stuff for people, okay, focus on what they could actually use and what they actually need. Let's just here's our step that we're going to take this Christmas. We're going to eliminate the junk spending. Let's do that. You still want to go to the mall because it's your thing? All right. Okay. But let's get rid of the junk category. Can we do that? Can we really work on that? I mean, that's a baby step, right? We can get rid of that. We can work our way out of consumerism. And if you really feel like, I got coworkers, I got a boss, I got this, then make a donation towards the Clean Water Fund, Clean Water for Kenya. Make a get and give them a card. You see, when you do that, it's like a win, win, win. It's at least 3 wins there. When you do it that way, here's what you're doing. You're saving yourself time. You're saving yourself potentially money, right? Because you don't, okay, maybe I would have spent $1 million on this person. I'm only going to spend $1,000, whatever it is. I don't know. Does anybody spend like that at Christmas? Let's be friends. Anyway, instead of doing that, you save money, you save time, you're giving. So people who are really in need are receiving, so they win. You're saving money and time, so you win. And when you give the gift to the person, it's not like, oh, great, more cookies. Oh, great, more fudge that I have to eat, okay? Oh, great, another tie. They win, too, because they don't have to collect your junk. All right? Once you get to a certain age, you realize, man, I'm collecting junk. All right? So it's a win-win-win. You win, they win, and the person in need wins. Yes? And it could be a 4th win. I think there's a 4th win in there, too. When you do that, you're also saying something about what it means to be a follower of Jesus. All right? So you're showing your boss, your coworkers, your whoever is like, okay, this is how I celebrate Christmas. You're showing other people what it looks like to follow Jesus. That's 4 wins, baby. Let's do this thing. Like I said, it's not about, let's not add, okay. And that's the thing I get concerned about is like a church, because sometimes churches are like, I know it's a really busy time of year. Let's make it more busy and add more stuff. No. This is not about adding. It's not about subtracting. It's about substituting, okay? And then if we can do that, we'll be able to get past this layer. We'll be able to unwrap this layer and get down to what's under. You know what? We'll save that for next week, okay? I got to save something for next week, right? But next week we'll see what's under there and see if we can get to the heart of what Christmas is all about. And you may be thinking, you know what? I'm a Christian. I know what's going on. I get it. I know where we're going. It's something to do with Jesus. All right, wait for it. Wait for it, okay? We're going to get there, but wait for it. We got to look at what's underneath here, and we're trying to get at the heart of what Christmas is all about. Now, here's the thing. I don't know each and every one of you here today very well. I don't know if you know what's going on in your life or where you stand with Jesus and all this, but you know what? Everything that I've said, if you're a Christian, it applies to you. If you're not a Christian, it applies to you too, okay? You don't have to be a Christian to use your resources to help other people, right? Like I said, there are plenty of good charitable organizations that are doing stuff, and they're not doing it in the name of Jesus, but they're just doing it. And so, again, if you're not a Christian, you're here this morning, I'm challenging you as well. And those of you who are Christians, I'm challenging you to do this not just out of the goodness of your heart, but in the name of your Savior and our Savior, Jesus Christ. There's your challenge. Don't add something else to your busy schedule. Don't add another expense. Substitute. We have, Holly and I, we have 2 daughters, 1 and 3. And we're trying to develop these traditions with them. You know what I mean? Of what Christmas is like and what you're supposed to be doing. And so every year we've taken, Lily, every year that she's been alive, we've taken her to City Team on Christmas Eve. And Holly also takes the girls Christmas shopping. And when they go Christmas shopping, they go to BJ's and they buy some food for people and they donate it. And it's like, that's the kind of thing I want to get into our kids' heads. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's the kind of thing that we can do. And so I would challenge you. And if you've been in the habit of spoiling your kids, this, that, and the other, okay, let's redirect that. Let's show our children, let's show the people in our lives what we can do with this Christmas season. Let's celebrate Christmas in a way that will actually honor Jesus. Let's do that.